Hi, my name's Sean Chesney, and this is my restaurant in Chinatown, Oyster Express. We're just coming up to our 1-year anniversary now, which is one of the hardest things for a lot of new restaurants to even get to. We really started to find our feet. It's myself and my fiance who've been running the place since we opened. I've been an oyster guy for about 10 years, always dreamed of having my own business, and now I'm lucky enough I get to share one of the healthiest, sexiest, most delicious foods with people every day. It's amazing. You know, there are people who have had oysters in their blood for generations and generations. They're one of the most traditional foods in the world, period. The earliest evidence of any civilization of humans living in North America are giant piles of oyster shells that are over 10,000 years old. So, you know, we don't know what people were doing 12 or 14,000 years ago. But we know they were harvesting oysters and seeking them out and feasting on specifically oysters 12,000 years ago. So there's something about oysters that's different from other foods. I personally think that it's an instinctual thing. It's how healthy they are for you. You know, I think humans way back then just sort of knew that oysters would keep you alive better than other foods. So, you know, when you talk about food and history and culture, there's no food that could possibly be as deep in those regards as oysters. They're incredibly good for you. All you have to do is eat 3 raw oysters in a day and it's already better for you than a multivitamin. So here at Oyster Express, our goal is to give the freshest, the best quality product. I get my oysters delivered every day. People who love oysters are usually pretty discerning people. You know, they can tell whether it's really fresh, whether you really care or not. In terms of oyster variety, I have about at least 8 different kinds every day, sometimes as many as 15 different kinds. Here in BC, we have over 300 different oyster farms. Well over half of my oysters will be right from BC. I'm also a big advocate for Washington oysters. The way I see it is you're supporting the local oyster business, whether it's over there or over here. The oysters don't know they're in another ocean, right? It's an imaginary line there. So the oyster's just as good. I've got 15 different kinds. I've got 4 distinct different species of oyster here, which is really unique. I've never seen that in any other oyster bar that I've worked in or been in. Just different areas, different brands, different farming styles, different depths of water, different levels of salinity. All these things affect the way oysters taste. I try to kind of open people's eyes a little bit, give them something they haven't had before. I try to have the staple, reliable local ones and also a few more exotic, more different species and things that, you know, give people a real chance to try something they haven't had before. Okay, well, yeah, we definitely have the best value in town here. We have oysters of the day all the time that are on special. We can buck a shuck throughout the week. I've always got a really good selection here. Most oyster bars will have a few different kinds available. I got 15 here. You know, there's just not that many people who have spent enough time to really know what they're doing, to know what's fresh and what's good and what's you know, the right seasons for different things, how to store the oysters. I've spent the majority of my adult life working with oysters, so I guess that gives me kind of an advantage in dealing with them. It's just about doing our best for every table, every customer, every person, every plate. It's really just about trying our hardest, and you know, so far we've been getting a lot of love in return. You know, it's usually more adventurous, kind of open-minded people who love oysters. So the vibe inside a busy oyster bar is usually pretty cool wherever you are. You know, you get such a mix, such a different mix than in any other restaurant or any other bar or any type of situation. Really, get a bunch of oyster lovers together.